Hey guys, Sarah here. So recently playing Tarkov has been pretty rough, but BSG keeps putting out continual updates and hotfixes that are making things better. For example, on the 29th, they did an update that made the weather more variable, so I was able to get the Jaeger quest Chili done, where you have to kill enemies while you are suffering from frostbite. And that led me to a follow-up quest called Illegal Logging, where you need to eliminate targets in the forest at night in woods, shoreline, lighthouse, and customs. So for woods, I got kills in the area around where the sniper scav is located, around that big rock foresty area. In shoreline, I got my kills around the power station, kind of in the middle of the map, in between the power station and the pier, which is like the gas station area. In Lighthouse, I was trying to do it in the area near the lighthouse, but I was getting very limited scav spawns. Usually there's a bunch over there, but every time I checked, there wasn't. So I ended up finishing the quest around the village area, like right before you go into water treatment. So I'm very happy that that area counts. That's where I got the majority of the kills. And on customs, I got the kills in the foresty area on the outskirts of New Gas. So, with illegal logging turned in, that was it for our Jaeger quests. Also with this update, they fixed the skier quest Connections Up North. So now when you get PMC kills, they will actually count for your quest. So you do need a lot of kills, so if you're in PvE like me, I think the place where I had the easiest time getting the most amount of kills was in woods. Pretty much every time you engage an AI PMC on woods, they will be the distance required to count for the quest. So if you're trying to complete this in PvE, I would recommend heading over to woods. And once we got that done and turned in, that's it for our skier quest. And as a reward, we get the other 338 rifle, the Sako TRG M10. And honestly, I've been using this a lot. I got weapon mastery with it. I like this 338. There's 3 different barrels for it. If you go for a long barrel, it's more comparable to the AXMC, but I think it's worse because it has a smaller magazine. The Sako has a magazine of 8 rounds. The AXMC has a magazine of 10. This weapon shines as the short barrel build. It feels snappy, it feels good, and when you shoot, there is a lot of recoil, but it's a satisfying recoil. So I actually like this thing, and I like the short barrel build for it. It's kind of funny, when you have the stock folded and you try and do a chamber check, your character's like, I can't do it, the stock's in the way. But when you shoot, your character's like, yeah, I can just grab the bolt and cycle it, no big deal, no problem. So that's a little bit funny. I mean, I guess it would be annoying or confusing gameplay-wise if you shoot and then you can't reload and you're like, what's going on? Oh no, my stock is folded. So yeah, I can see how, for the sake of gameplay, it's probably a good thing that doesn't happen actually. So we still have no news on the BTR driver. I went and tried to find him again. For like 15 raids, I thought maybe they patched it out, but eventually I found the BTR again. I hopped in, I asked him, hey, do you have any work for me? He said, no, we're good, no problem. But this time I took the BTR to his train yard depot, and I searched the buildings for any kind of NPC or something. So I checked this kind of like admin building, there was nothing in there. I checked the garage, nothing in there. I checked the more like forward admin building and I realized, this door used to open and now it's breach and it's closed and it's locked. So I think maybe that will have something to do with the BTR quest. I don't have any footage of what's in that room, so in the description I will link to a Pastilli video where he goes into that room. If you guys want to check it out, go support him. He's an amazing content creator. But that wasn't the end of it, because I was determined to figure this out. So I thought, if none of the quest givers give the quest, if the BTR driver, I talk to him and he says, nah, we're good, maybe it's a Lightkeeper quest. Maybe the Lightkeeper gets you in touch with the BTR driver's boss, and then you get the quest from there. So I geared up, and I went to Lighthouse to talk to the Lightkeeper. And when I got there, there was there was hostile cultists who were teleporting around, and they killed me so fast I wasn't even sure what was going on. I didn't want to shoot them because I didn't want the Lightkeeper to get mad at me, so I was just like, okay, I guess. But then I went to visit him in an offline raid to see if maybe there's a quest from him. So I went into an offline raid, went to him, talked to him, no quest. So maybe it doesn't work in offline, I'm not sure, but that was the extent of my investigation. At least for now. At this point in time where I was doing this, Khorovod was still broken. Thankfully, a later update has fixed it, at least fixed it for PvE. So if you're interested in doing it for PvE, it has been fixed. It should count. It shouldn't bug out. Well, hopefully it doesn't, because they have addressed the issue, and hopefully they have actually fixed it. I was able to get Khorovod to work for me on my 4th time fully completing the event, and so I'm very happy to get that done and get that turned in. It counted. I'm free! So with that turned in, my quest log is clean once again, and I can go back to being happy. At least until my dailies reset. Or until they add the BTR driver quests, or maybe some new Lightkeeper quests. Alrighty, so with that being said, we can now move on to the next part of the video, which is talking about the recent issues that I've experienced while playing over the past few days, and some new ones that just started recently. So with the update on the 29th, Tarkov became quite miserable to play, and the reason why is because on the 29th and the 30th, normal scavs were extremely aimbotty. So I got head-eyesed by scavs probably more those 2 days than I have the past 4 months combined. However, there was a hotfix on the 31st which fixed this issue. We're just going to have to keep an eye when more updates happen to see if this issue comes back, because that can potentially happen. Also with that hotfix that was meant to fix Khorovod, however, it was still broken for me during that time. I completed it 2 more times after that fix and neither of them registered. And then they updated the game again, and then that time they fixed the issue with traveling from map to map, having it bug out and break the game. So I was able to successfully complete it the 4th time. Hopefully you'll be successful in completing it as well. At least we're not losing our attempts at clearing it over something that's out of our control. Like, as a player, if you bring enough ammo, if you bring enough food, if you bring enough meds, these are things that we can control. Having the game just bug out in between loading maps, that's out of our control. So that's really lame as a player when that happens and you lose an attempt that you spent an hour or 2 progressing. Another constant issue that I've been experiencing is that headphones just don't work when you load into Raid. I've tested it with multiple headphones, I've tested it with multiple setups, and it seems to be consistent, at least for me. So when you load into a raid, your audio is as if you don't have headphones, and when you take them off and put them on, then they get activated. Here's a couple examples of that. And now for something new that just started happening today. The game seems to think that I have negative amounts of money. So when I look for stuff on the flea market, I am not able to buy anything from the flea market right now. However, if we go back to the trader, I am able to buy directly from the trader. So thank goodness I can still buy stuff from the trader, but I am effectively locked out of the flea market right now, and that's really annoying. So hopefully that'll be resolved soon. I don't know how that happens. It's very weird. It's the first time I have ever seen something like this, and probably it's related because I'm on PvE, and all of the many, many, many wipes that I've done before have all been on PvP, so it was never an issue. So this seems like some kind of new PvE issue. Hopefully they get it resolved soon. Alright, lastly in this video, let's talk about the Khorovod Event. Keeping things short as we talk about them. In general, what I liked about the Khorovod Event was the music. It was fun, it was festive, there was that funny little one song that would hop on that would be like, Daddy was a lover, Daddy was a lover, oh yeah, bum 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 bum. That was a fun one. I liked that one. Every time that one popped up, I thought that was pretty fun. I also like the feeling of preparation. It was kind of like getting ready for a camping trip, making sure you bring enough food, meds, fuel, ammo, you know, whatever you need when you go out camping, right? The difficulty scaling of the event was there, but it wasn't exactly perfect. The general idea is when you're most prepared in Shoreline, that's when they send a small amount of scavs at you. When you're running low on ammo on customs, for example, that's when they send more and more scavs on you to build up the pressure of you getting closer to completing your goal. This can be nice in theory, giving you a rewarding satisfaction when you complete it. However, in Tarkov, anything can go wrong at any moment, and then you get reset. You could lose an hour and a half, maybe even 2 hours of progress in one attempt by just having something completely random go wrong. Or if you're playing on the PvP servers, you could get griefed by another player. But as for me enjoying this event on PvE, the things that caused me the greatest amount of anxiety and stress is when I was switching between maps, because I was worried that my game would crash, I was worried that my game would bug out, and this did happen to me 3 times. 3 times I completed the whole entire event, only for it to not count, and it was very frustrating. Having that happen is pretty deflating, especially when as a player I can't control that. As a player, what I can control is the amount of ammo I bring, foods, meds, maybe I bring a second gun in case I burn the durability and I don't want jams. That's what I as a player can control. I cannot control my game randomly bugging in between loading maps. Having that happen, it sucks, and it brings into question the design of the event, requiring from you an hour to 2.5 hours of playtime where nothing goes wrong. You don't get griefed by another player, your game doesn't crash, you don't get disconnected, just to complete an event that is all or nothing. If you die in customs, you gotta restart. Is it fun to travel through these snow-covered maps in one continuous raid, enjoying the view and the scenery of all the places you go? Yes. It's a fun event, it's a novel idea, but when you get reset, it sucks. It feels really bad. This might be an event that's more fun with friends, but when you're doing it solo, you kind of feel like, hey, I'm enjoying it until you die, and then you're like, oh great, now I have to do it all over again. And then when you go back to maps like Shoreline, you alt-tab, you pack a mag, you wait for footsteps, and it's kind of boring until you get to maps like Woods, Customs, and Interchange. That's when it starts to get really fun. But I'd say maps like Shoreline and Reserve, they were probably the most boring. Lighthouse, I think, was okay. But then, yeah, Woods, Customs, and Interchange were actually the fun maps to play on this event. So, at the end of the day, wrapping everything up, I actually didn't really like this event, but I found my way of appreciating it and experiencing it, enjoying it for what it was, but it was not one of my favorite events. After I completed it, then I was able to enjoy it a little bit more and appreciate it for what it was. While I was trying to complete it and I was dealing with bugs and issues, I was not having a good time. Maybe if I experienced the event without the bugs and issues, maybe I would have liked it more, but probably not, because ultimately, In the earlier maps, it's boring. In the later maps, it's fun. I think there's a better way to do it. Overall, now that I'm done with it, it was okay. Alrighty, that's all I got for you guys, so thank you very much for watching. I hope you're having fun, and enjoy the snow.